So I spent 4 years in Venice Beach building Big Picture Collective, which ultimately turned into what is now Big Picture World Group. And I moved to Venice after making Cutthroat City. When I got down there, I got to meet a gentleman by the name of Vito, who was from New York and owns a pizza joint near Venice Beach, right next door to Venice High School, called Angel City Pizza. Vito and I got to know each other because he literally makes the best pizza that I've eaten in LA. He's got this pizza where I get pepperoni, basil, and garlic, but it's got a garlic knot crust. And we became fast friends. I went in there constantly, not only before I started pursuing Paramount, but for the whole time I lived in Venice Beach. And specifically, when I started putting together the group Tone Paramount, Vito and I started talking to get to know each other just because of his energy, and he was really into sports, and he knew that I was working with athletes like Jerry Easter, Meta World Peace, and several boxers that he was a fan of. And the more we got to talking, the more he let me know about some of his Hollywood relationships, one of which is Doug Ellen and some of the inner circle connected to Doug. And as I went through this process, that just became even funnier as time went on, because one of the people that I met in the path and pursuit of Paramount that Robert Russell introduced me to was a gentleman by the name of Dave Perkle. Dave and Doug Ellen not only went to AFI together, but Dave shot the majority of all of the Entourage episodes. He's an ASC cinematographer who is not only making his really directorial feature film debut, but he has a ton of content that he's been developing with Doug. One of those things they shot a pilot for called Ramble On. Now, the funny thing about me doing podcasts is Ramble On is literally about podcasts. Kevin Conley plays himself, struggling to get work as an actor now post-Entourage because he's getting typecast. So he decides he's going to start a podcast, and he's going to do that with Charlie Sheen playing himself. And they're going to literally tell this story and so on and so forth. I'll keep the plot under wraps, but basically everybody in Hollywood knows that pretty much any television series through the years that starred Charlie Sheen, even after his trials and tribulations, is easily in value worth $100 million plus. Well, for whatever reason, after they've shot this pilot for this series, which exists, starring not only Charlie, but Martin Sheen, Kevin Dillon, all these people connected to Entourage, they have never been able to sell it or set it up. And sure, the production costs are high, about $6 to $7 million episode, but it's warranted, not only based on what Doug did with Entourage. And I tell you what, there's not been a vibe of any TV series, maybe Ballers from some of the same creative crew, but there hasn't been a vibe that's been comparable to that show since then, until this. So there is literally a watermarked copy of this pilot with my name on it, because one of the main pieces of IP that I had front and center, because I needed something big in the world of TV to go with what we could do in film, where in film I literally had a chance not only to go make Passion of the Christ, the sequel that Mel is now doing Lionsgate, but out front and center, right next to my Paramount Pulp Fiction IP that we were going to do as an anthology TV series, which we're still going to do. Paramount, you can come and sue me. Lee Kaplan's got the trademark. You can't stop me. But basically, Ramble On, in my opinion, is easily because of what the concept is. And not only that, takes place in San Francisco, and it's so current. It's about the world of podcasts. And Kevin Conley's amazing in this. And the major coincidence with that is Kevin's now wife and mother of his children, Zule Hano, starred in my film playing D. Ray Davis's love interest called Grow House. But it was Entourage reborn, but a much better idea to where everyone's actually playing themselves. So like, it's not Kevin playing a character and then a bunch of Hollywood celebrities are in it. It's Charlie Sheen. It's Martin Sheen. It's an incredible father-son story, too, with Martin and Charlie. And then the weird connections with that. Me partnering with Larry Franco to do all this for years and him having worked on Apocalypse Now, there was so much connective tissue to my life, to other people's lives and their careers that coincided directly and overlapped with mine in one big spider web. And I've been a fan of Charlie Sheen and admire of his work ever since I was a child. And I got so excited when we raised all this money to buy Paramount, because not only was I going to try to persuade Doug Ellen to let me direct an episode of this, but I knew that at least behind our bid from having the streaming rights in front of us to the Jackson Variety Series, the 72 unreleased Jackson 5 Masters, all this insane IP in film and TV, projects from Terrence Winter, Rachel Winter involved, influencers with millions upon hundreds of millions of followers, all these incredible athletes, to where we could turn Paramount into a sports agency, actually bring back talent deals, Griffin Johnson and other influencers to build an entire Gen Z division for a whole new generation. And we didn't just have this in the US, we had this across the entire world. And then there's just the small little factor that Robert Russler, who introduced me to Dave Perkle, well, his sister-in-law, her name is Stacy Snyder. For those here in the industry, specifically you, Eric Gardner and Matt Bellany, who I hope are listening to this, last time I checked, she was chairwoman of not one, not two, but 3 major studios: Universal, DreamWorks, and Fox, till Bob Iger and Disney put her out of a job. So yes, we had the opportunity to, when we took over Paramount, to bring in Stacy Snyder, who in my vision was going to be the co-chairwoman if she took the job with Larry Franco. Top that, Ellison. You can't. Nobody can. That was on the table. That's what got suppressed by a guy by the name of Charles Phillips, former president of Oracle, best buddy of Larry Ellison. Tell me how there's not a conflict of interest when the person to receive the bids to literally surpass Skydance was the best friend of literally the guy that made the offer to buy Paramount in the first place, in Larry Ellison. And then conveniently, once Skydance got past the board and got approved to buy Paramount, Charles Phillips resigned. Really interesting how that works. Stacy Snyder would have been amazing. She also would have made history. I think she would have been the only person to run 4 major studios. And now, it's important for me to note, I never got to have a conversation with Stacy. We never got to talk. But you see, Robert Russler was my main person in all of this. And not only pursuing doing the sequel to Passion of the Christ, but he was co-CEO. He was going to be co-CEO of Paramount, of this version of Paramount, my vision, what I led forward, what I raised money on with Robert and other people. And he assured me, because she's been married to his brother-in-law for over 30 years, not to mention not his brother-in-law, but his brother, not to mention his brother's a kingpin in real estate, who also worked in the industry as a music supervisor for years. But Robert said, he's like, there's no way on planet Earth, if we get this, Stacy wouldn't come and run the studio. So I banked on that. I thought that's what we were going to end up getting to do. But I digress. But I just want to go on record. Never got to talk to her. Robert will talk about it all day, though, because pretty sure family shows up for family. I know most of mine did for all of this. Specifically South Africa with my boy Bex. We were going to set up everything in a DAO to actually let the consumers decide what gets made. Create literally coins, tokens, crypto coins that people could buy, the Paramount coin. But the power elite prevented that. Our ideas are still a million times better than David Ellison's. The crazy thing is they've taken over Paramount, but they haven't come out and said what a plan is. They're just greenlighting. They're just spending money. UFC deal, trying to renew Taylor Sheridan. I love that Taylor Sheridan left. The whole point is there's still been no vision presented. They've got a guy running the studio in Jeff Shell who was fired from another studio for sexually harassing women. And the point behind all of this is just this one IP alone for Ramble On, which is still one of the best unreleased pilots for a TV series that I've ever seen. That show alone was worth $100 million. Still is. Still something I'd like to make. The whole point is I had IP for days. But I digress. Doug Ellen connected to my boy Vito. So the whole plan with all this is, because obviously these podcasts are presenting what we're doing, we have a podcast that we're going to host at Vito's Pizza Joint, Angel City Pizza, right next to Venice High School. That'll be more for the Gen Z crowd and to also raise awareness on social justice causes, because the real way that you raise, excuse me, God, I'm tongue-tied today. The actual way to raise proper awareness on social justice causes is to get the next generation involved in them. That's why Mom Donnie just got elected in New York. The next generation got out and voted. But we're going to do a podcast in Angel City every week. We're going to do a podcast at the Canyon Country Store. The one at Angel City will be connected to teenagers. The one at the Canyon Country Store will be connected to celebrities, stories about the Canyon, primarily focused on music. And then we're going to do a podcast at the Ocala Drive-In. And lastly, and this is something I want to do with Charlemagne, we're going to do a podcast every single week at Pineywood School to where the students can work on it, produce it, and get to be involved. But furthermore, it allows us to bring A-list talent across all mediums to Mississippi to not only sit down and have conversations, but interact and engage with the children, be part of the Mississippi community, but furthermore, build a list that will literally coincide with this event every November, that we'll get to build up an entire roster of talent over the course of an entire year. So that's the plan. 4 podcasts, 4 locations. I'm going to travel across the United States and I'm going to do this. And then we'll have special one-offs as well in New York and other places. That'll happen probably once a month because I don't intend to travel to New York every week. But every week I'll be in Los Angeles, I'll be in Mississippi, I'll be in Ocala. And I'm going to bring my friends with me. You see, we tried to buy Paramount and all we got was this podcast. And that's fine because talking to people is a lot more fun than deal with the stress of running a gigantic conglomerate media company that ultimately I didn't have daddy's money to buy, but I was able to unite artists across the entire world to do something that's never been done before. And that legacy can never be erased. Even when I'm dead and gone, that still all happened. I literally was able to take something, an idea, a vision that I received from a higher power, and unite artists across the entire world together. But I give you a conversation with my boy Vito, and Vito's like me. He stands up for things that are right, and he's a walking testifier as well to what I pursued for a year and a half because I talked to him every week about it. And then when I was homeless after doing it, just like Tommy Bina, he fed me and he kept me alive. Vito, I love you until the end of time, bro. God bless you, my man. Thank you. Enjoy a conversation with the owner of Angel City Pizza, which I intend to franchise and bring to my hometown. And yes, the podcast is called Share Coke with Will for a reason. 1, it raises awareness for literally artists that struggle with addictions. But 2, from a brand standpoint, everybody loves to share Coca-Cola. It brings people together in the world of entertainment. What do you do when you go to a movie? You get a Coke. So, we hope that as an ecosystem made up of numerous celebrities, athletes, and entertainers across the entire world, which would be co-hosts and also guests on a weekly rotating basis, to ultimately long-term have Coca-Cola be our full brand partner in all of this, because it literally connects to education and helps the next generation of children in a manner that has never been produced on Earth before, much less in the entertainment industry. Name me another podcast that's produced at America's oldest private remaining historically black boarding school. There isn't one. It's just this one. So I look forward to meeting with Coca-Cola here soon. I look forward to having Coca-Cola as a brand partner to give back to America's oldest private boarding school. And I look forward to Coca-Cola every single year, who's already branded over businesses that I literally have agreements to buy, being our partners to literally shine a spotlight on the next generation of children. And once every year, over the course of a weekend, raise millions, if not hundreds of millions, and maybe even one day billions of dollars to give back to the earth and the world that we come from, and literally to God's kingdom that made Coca-Cola one of the biggest brands in the world ever of all time. And we don't need AI when you got us to make your commercials, Coke. By the way, Vito carries Pepsi products. We're happy to change that if you give us a call.
The guy that created Entourage.
Who, Doug Ellen?
Doug.
Oh,
yeah.
You know Doug?
Oh, I know Doug, yeah. I know.
So I know his DP, Dave Perkle.
Yeah.
I had Dave at a meeting to form this studio that's now this whole thing.
Yeah, I know him.
The person that's going to be here on our podcast is Stock Tip Dave, who's part of Doug's podcast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he came, it was funny because I commented one day on it because he does the Victory podcast.
I got Stock Tip Dave from the Victory podcast. Thanks to my boy Judah.
And I liked the hat. I was like, Doug, I want a couple of hats, man. I'll trade you a pizza for hats. And he came down like 3 days later. He dropped me off a couple of hats. He's like, here, man.
Followed through on the intentions. That's badass.
I was like, that, you're a fucking gentleman. Most guys will just be like, yeah, no problem, you know. He was like 3-4 days later, he came down, boom, he goes, I gotta run. I'm playing pickleball. I was like, pizza night? He's like, I can't, bro, I'm late. Because I was in the area. I promised I didn't want to be in the area without dropping you off the hats. He goes, I'm dropping off the fucking hats. And he was gone. He was going to play pickleball.
I love it. So I hit record. That whole Doug and Vito story. This is what this is, bro. You got so many great stories, right?
He's a nice guy, Doug. I like Doug.
He gave me the blessing with his partner Dave. So Vito, man, I had first crack at his new TV show he created with Charlie Sheen.
I wish they would make that show. That'll look a great fucking show,
Ramble
man.
On?
I saw the clip.
That's what I had.
I saw the clip for it. He posted that clip, and it was kind of like fucking Entourage 2.0 almost. Entourage was literally in my top 3 of all-time favorite shows.
Guess what we're going to do?
I loved Entourage.
Guess what we're going to do? You and I are going to have a private viewing with the celebrities that I have here on the podcast of the whole episode. Because I have it with the watermark to me. Because I was trying to acquire Paramount so I could release Doug Ellen's new show on Paramount Plus. I swear to God. God is my witness with Dave Perkle and Robert Russler, who's hosting the podcast. He's who introduced me. I went to like a men's group thing that Russler was doing at his house and met Dave, who was Doug's best friend from AFI. Yeah. God kept leading me to people to run Paramount, to take IP into Paramount.
Yeah, so I had a whole crew. I know Doug. I think when they were young, they came here, I think, with like a bunch of friends from Long Island that all grew up together, and they all became like famous. Like a couple of, I forgot their names, but like they all became like, well known, and
including the poster you got in there. That's all connected to it too.
Which one?
On your wall in there, your friend, the friend that makes the show that you told me about.
Oh, right? Will DeMayo. Yeah.
That's all the same connective people from the East Coast.
Yeah, he had Shaq. He's about to drop season 3. It's coming out soon, and he had Shaquille O'Neal in season 3.
That's so awesome. Does he self-produce that show?
He does everything. That's literally his fucking show.
That's awesome.
He's the production company. I think he just signed. He was here about 4 or 5 months ago. Every time he comes, he does a little video with me. He's really nice. Always makes a video about the pizza. That's awesome. And he had just signed with CAA.
Oh wow!
Who's the big?
Well, WME, who reps Wahlberg, Ari Emanuel, but CAA is the other big agency.
I think it's CAA he signed with.
That's awesome.
And he was out here to be. He had meetings in their office and stuff, so he stopped in on the way to the airport. Actually, he came in, have a pizza, hang out for about an hour. And he does. He does everything, man. He does everything.
You know,
and he's smart, man, because he does shit like. Have you watched Gravesend? I like it because it just reminds me of my neighborhood growing
what's
up.
it called?
Gravesend.
Gravesend.
Yeah, it's a good. That's the neighborhood. It's Gravesend, Brooklyn.
Okay.
It's right next to my neighborhood, Sheepshead Bay. Sheepshead Bay and Gravesend is the same fucking. It's like Venice, Mar Vista. It's the same shit.
I got you.
It's just
So
got
they're
two
like
different
bordering
names.
one another.
Yeah,
Got you.
but he got like if you watch his show, he has like all these classic caddies.
Oh, that's sick.
He has fucking IROCs, Grand Nationals.
That's dope.
And they're all his cars.
Oh wow, what's the show about?
It's about growing up in the mafia, like in the 80s.
Oh, that's dope.
And he fucking he fucking nailed it.
That's
like
awesome.
the way they dress, the cars, the fucking discos, the music. It's like going back in a fucking time capsule.
That's incredible.
You know, and
wow.
and he's smart. Like he buys all the cars, and then like I think he leases them to
The production.
the show.
Yeah.
So the show, in essence, pays for the cars.
Exactly.
And
That's what I'm doing with this whole vision.
It's like you're renting your own shit to yourself.
Exactly.
And getting paid for it.
Exactly.
You know. So it's smart business, man. It's smart business.
That's the whole house advertising ecosystem, right? I was telling you about where we would do the store and then an Angel City down there. That whole thing pays for itself because I could turn the house into murals from advertisers paired with artists, and then it's generating revenue every day, plus content creators paying to come and use the house every day. So it creates an ecosystem, but it's all about self-producing that, like your friend does with Gravesend. That's the whole point. That's amazing. What is so how did this place get birthed into the legacy that you've been creating? I know you've told me, but I wanted to talk about how you formed Angel City here.
Formed Angel City with my partner Tim. He actually came to me because through mutual friends, knew that I'd grown up in the business.
Yep.
And he thought it would be a fun idea to get a place going. So he approached me with the idea, and I was like, yeah, sure, it sounds good. And we originally talked about it in like 2019, 2020, and then COVID hit.
Yep.
So we kind of put the brakes on it, because nobody knew what the fuck was going to happen with COVID. We didn't know what was going to happen. People were losing their fucking lives. Everything was closing down. You couldn't leave the house. So we kind of just hit the brakes on it. And in 22, we got back on the trail.
Well, you formed the idea in 2020, hence since 2020.
In 2020, we agreed to do it, open the corporation, and then, like I said, COVID hit, we backed off, and then once like 22 rolled around, we were like, you know what, let's revive this, and we signed our lease April 1st of 22.
Oh wow, April 1.
And we opened April 1st of 23. We opened
so that's
the
right
year
around
to
the time when I met you. I said earlier, I did a video, I said I'd known you for 4 years, but it's been about 2.5.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so we opened April 1st, 23, and that was it. We both put our ideas together, what we wanted. He wanted it to be like kind of a really cool LA vibe because we're in LA, but I was like, well, you know what, we're selling
bring
fucking
to New York.
We're selling fucking New York pizza.
Yeah.
So we got to have a New York vibe as well. That's why
you did a great job.
There's one scenery in the dining room, and then the kitchen is completely different. The kitchen is all subway tile. So the kitchen is mine.
Yeah, where the pizza's made, man. The creation.
That's like my little subway station.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of home. And then I got my various, plaques and highway signs and street signs from New York. And, and the rest of it is kind of L.A. But the pizza is New York. It's strictly.
Pizza's maybe literally. You want to talk about what you and I connected over? Because it was the pizza. One special pizza I call in order where you got to know me on the phone.
Like a fuck, I knew every time it was that's Will. Garlic knot with 2 extra sides of tomato sauce.
Yep, for the garlic knots.
With basil.
Yep.
As soon as I heard the basil and the 2 extra sides of tomato, I was like, oh yeah, that's for Will.
Yeah, I thought that would be like a normal thing people would order, but
they were like, they were like, how do you know? I'm like, dude, he orders it once a week, the same fucking pie. Garlic knot with basil and 2 extra 2 extra sides of tomato sauce.
Bro.
And that was like the will. We called it the will.
The will. Let's
Every
go,
time he
dude.
called up, Tim, the other
didn't
Tim,
know that.
works with me, Tim would be like, I need a will. I'm like, all right, he's coming in.
Dude,
like,
that's so good, man.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then I walked in here last summer before there was any public anything on any of this. So what did I tell you I was doing?
Oh, the Paramount thing. You've been talking about that forever. Since I know you. You were talking about the whole Paramount deal and what you were trying to accomplish with that, and some various projects you had going on with RZA and a few other people and things you were working on and movies you were trying to get off the ground, and that evolved into your the store there in the Canyon. You were telling me about doing some projects there, getting that going, and just ideas evolving into other ideas and
Creation.
trying to create something, something sustainable.
You're the man, Vito, and you're giving me something sustainable. So I'm gonna make literally to give back. Right, this is all about me giving back to the path, the people, all over the U.S. So I just want to create never-ending opportunities by utilizing my voice at the places that I love so much.
Yeah, I've always, even going back to New York, I've always used whatever business I've had as a platform for anyone that, anyone that needs it. You have to help people in life, especially if you've been blessed with stuff. You have to. It's your responsibility to pay it forward to other people. I tell a lot of people, no, door's always open. Like, if you don't have money one day, well, give a fuck. Come in and just tell me. Hey, man, I'm a little light. Can you help? Yeah. Yeah, I'm Italian. We feed everybody.
Oh man, you gave me several free garlic knot pizzas and then slices whenever I came in.
When you're Italian, especially Italian Americans, that's ingrained in us because we struggled when we came here. We weren't really accepted when we first came here. It took a lot for Italian Americans to become what we are, where we are now. So if you can't acknowledge that and be there for other people that are going through what you went through, then you're a hypocrite. You're full of shit.
Just like I've been saying.
You have to, what does it cost to give somebody a pizza? What does it cost? The $10 that it cost you to give somebody a pizza, you just put food in their belly that maybe they can go another couple of days. Maybe you don't know people's situations. You don't know what they're going through.
I ate one of those pizzas for like 2.5 days, bro, in a garage on Love Street.
When we had the fires, I was sending pizzas all over the fucking city. I had people I didn't even know. Half of them could have been full of shit for all I knew. But you're not gonna worry about who's lying and who's not. You're gonna
step into action.
You're gonna have the faith that everybody's telling the truth and they need it, and you sleep at night. But we would various firehouses all over LA, churches, church groups, Pasadena, Rancho Park, the FEMA offices. We were doing with Slice Out Hunger, and we were just sending sandwiches, salads, pizzas, like whatever. I didn't anybody that called. I was like, yeah, what do you need? Yeah, we got you. Don't worry about it. I had people coming here volunteering their time just to deliver it and be like, hey, what's up, sweetie? How are you?
I love the bike.
Nice.
That's the other thing beautiful about this, man. The beach vibe too.
Yeah, get a lot of people ride their bike down and stop by for a slice and.
That's exactly the theme of the show. So the talent, because I worked this out today out here and shot the promo for it, just so you know what we're doing. The talent's going to fly in and be picked up in a Waymo, so I can bring in Waymo, driven to the W in Westwood, where we're going to I'm sending a proposal to open a Love Street Experience Lounge there. We'll get into that later because this is about here. But basically, the talent gets picked up at the W in a G-Wagon, hence the Mercedes. We drive to underneath the Windward Venice sign and hop in a pedicab that's motorized. And we pull up. And we get out. And we put on a show. But only audio form. However, there are cameras filming that But then there's no cameras around here because I want people to be comfortable to just listen to what's being said with famous faces that's going to drive traffic in here. And then once we leave here, we get picked up in the pedicab and we go over to Bluey's once the nightlife begins, right? Because that place is popping. It also spreads the word.
Oh, Chucho's? Yeah.
Yeah, Chucho's, but then Bluey's at night, right? Or the Chucho's, yeah, sorry. It goes from Bluey's to the day to Chucho's at night. And then after this will be every Wednesday. And that's why I want to maintain this to be easy, just with like an audio device. So I can come in here naturally and hang out. Because I want to show that celebrities are people like everybody, right?
Yeah.
So
Let me
no,
show
do
you
your
something out of my
thing.
car. You want
Yeah, do your thing. So check this out, right? The Canyon Country store. Have you been there before?
No.
So you got to come check it out, take the tour. But Vito, underneath it is an entire restaurant. Now, the restaurant, they don't own the space. They have a lease. Oh, yeah, here.
Might want out.
No, I got you.
Thank you.
Yep. So there's a particular restaurant that leases the store. Spend a decent amount of money a month to be there. But you see, that location's a celebrity hotspot. And it's not about the current restaurant that's there, why people go there. The reason why they moved into that space from where they were at on Sunset Boulevard in a place that was not as nice. So you see, it wasn't about the food or the atmosphere. It was the location. Now, the difference is your food is exceptional. This is going to promote all of this. I have the opportunity to buy the Canyon Country store outright. But to start, I'm just going to partner with them and pay for the brand. Because you know how you said the production pays for everything? Well, ultimately, the podcast brand dollars that we will have will allow me to buy the brand by my damn self. But I'm curating celebrities to be the faces and possibly buy it up front with me before they lose the opportunity. So that being said, ultimately, I'm going to buy the store. When I buy the store, we have a restaurant space if I don't renew the lease with the current owners. And I just have to say one thing. You know how you meet people on the street, you don't know who you're talking to or whatever reasons? Those current owners were rather rude to me multiple times.
Say what?
They were very rude to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and my artists that I were bringing around because they didn't know who we were or why we were there so much. Well, we were there because for 8 months I was putting something massive together, connected a bunch of famous people that eat at the restaurant that's there. So I'm going to bring those famous people here and do a podcast. And moving forward, I want to do what that place is with the restaurant that's below it and the store above it, but on Venice Beach, bro, and with you and everything we talked about doing. And I'm going to make every effort humanly possible to get David Ellison to allow you and I and your Tim, and I love the other Tim too, because music connects. He's good to me when you're not here. I want to do everything possible for us to open in Angel City on the lot at Paramount. And that's what I want to talk to David Ellison on my podcast about. I'm going to tell him I want to open Angel City Pizza with him. You see, I promised him that if he books my podcast, I'm not going to talk to him about Paramount on the podcast. But once I hit stop on that bitch, the first thing I'm going to talk about is this. And then we're going to have a meeting with you. And the reason why I was saying I want to create something to where you could spend like a day a week with your family, because, bro, I want you to be somebody who's on the podcast every single week. Just talking and hanging out with the people that are there, bro. Have a conversation over a meal. That's why I'm having Danny. It's people that I want to eat lunch with and vibe every week and talk to famous people. And I curated like a dinner. And that's why we're just recording it, because that's so easy. Because I tried to film with Danny Falcone in Phoenix a dinner, and it was impossible because there was all this stuff for the logistics for filming everything, right? Film the food, all this. This I'm going to film all the food separately. I'm going to do an entire 30-minute episode on you for Spark to Legacy. It's me showcasing the restaurants that I love so much. But we're just going to record, bro, and sit down. And then it gives you an entire day off, because I will have a brand partner along with whoever it is, hopefully Coke. It's called Share Coke with Will. But I'm going to have other brand partners, and they're going to pay us money for the days. So you at least have one day a week that you know you got money. That literally also creates incremental additional flow for you here for the business, and allows us to just have fucking fun for one day. The stories I'd come in here and I'd stay 20 extra minutes we talk about, we're going to do that, but in a podcast form with other people that are going to spark conversations with you, because Danny's from the same area. I'm going to have Jay Ivy come out here periodically, and I'm going to fly in Griffin Johnson, who's got 10 million followers on TikTok. So a kid every week on a podcast with you has 10 million followers. And I'm connecting all that shit to the Doors and to other legacies of music. And then I want to build literally a Canyon Country market on Venice Beach that also has attached to it an Angel City Pizza. Because, and I know Venice, but see, it's not walking distance. You can walk to Venice, but it's a little bit of walk. Bro, the foot traffic off the boardwalk, and then it gets people to come down here. That's why I want to have that be not necessarily this whole set down thing, but more like you were talking about, the window or something like Marathon Burger, to where then it makes people come down here and bring the families to have an experience, because it's all about human experiences. So that's what my vision is with you, me, and Tommy Bina. And we'll sit down together, the three of us, not recorded or any of this stuff, but just have a conversation. Because Tommy's agreed. I have the brand. So I'm expanding the Canyon Country store back to where Morrison started his legacy. I feel like he took the legacy of art from Venice Beach and what he got and went to the Canyon. And I'm the one that was supposed to bring all that back. Custodians of legacies. That's the whole theme. You down?
Get it going, yeah.
I love you, Vito. And you're a family man with 2 daughters. Danny Falcone, all daughters. I know I get given relationships in my life with people that help change mine, mentors of me in businesses I'm not in. And I've connected a story together that I've told about simple kindness, man, like you've been talking about. And that's the theme of everything I'm doing. He's got Coca-Cola in his hand. That guy just walked by. Vito, man, thank you, bro. Thanks for keeping me alive and fed. Stopping this.
There are moments in a life when silence becomes complicity, when the weight of truth can break a person or break open a new world. I didn't step into this fight to tear something down. I stepped into it because the cost of pretending was too high. For me, for the people I love, for the culture I come from, and for the ones coming after us. We saw what power looks like without accountability. We saw how systems protect themselves, but we also saw something greater. We saw that the moment one person stands, others remember that they can stand too. This was never about revenge. This has always been about liberation, about art as truth, about community as family, about love as the only force strong enough to challenge fear. We are still here. We rose. And we are going to keep rising. Because this story doesn't end with what fell. It begins with what we are building now. In the end, love, truly, can conquer everything.